Okay, so starting with this ult, it's a good ult, right? Because you're trying to push people off the point. Fortunately, there's not that many people that are back there, and now you're dealing with pressuring that Winter Soldier. But look, your carpet's disappeared, and you're in damage mode. So the problem with that is that that's when you're going to notice teammates start to die. That was me there, the Magneto. So just looking again here. Yeah, you're trying to help with damage, but your ult actually lasts a lot shorter than you think. Here, it's good, you're keeping Namor alive. The way you gotta think about it is you're keeping the person who's gonna protect you alive. You pop your bubble, look, you 250 health, doing good, I came to help you out. It's great. Oh, who was that? Who's that? Who's low health? Oh, so now paying attention here, you can see Namor, I know it happened fast, hindsight's 2020, but in that moment when you see that red healing symbol, you really want to pay attention to that. Here, you just got your ult. You're doing a great job. They pop their rocket ult, so that's when you, for sure, you wanna push them back and counter that. You do a great job helping me take out rocket, doing damage. Where's your carpet? And where are you? You're in front of our whole team. So that's what you have to think about. Your positioning after your ult. Here you're doing good. You're keeping me alive as we're walking back to point. And in a second here, we're going to hear that supernova. Flame Boy's ult. You do a good job taking a good line of sight kind of coverage. But now, here's what you need to be thinking about. Your wall. It just came back right now. That would be a perfect cluster spot where you could use your wall to heal tanks. And just a little bit late. Hindsight 2020, it happens. Here you're under attack, you're using your bubble, but you are full health. That Namor you're trying to keep alive. Oh, in those moments you have to think, the person who is protecting you, you need to protect them. Here you're realizing you got your ult, you just took a lot of damage. Smart to use it, but what you need to pay attention to is where are you laying down that carpet. So right here you're doing a great job. You want to damage when you use your ult, right? Wait, how did you die? If you take a closer look here, you really have to pay attention to where you lay down your carpet. Because right here, as you can see, you're doing great, but you step outside of your healing carpet, and that's how you die, and boom, now the carpet disappears the second that you die. And that's what we really want to avoid. Yeah, you want to damage, but you want to stay alive as well. And here, just look at the positioning. I slowed it down. Whole team's on the right, our team is on the left. We're a little bit staggered. Here, you want to be thinking about that and get behind the tank as quick as possible. Now it's great you popped your bubble while you're under attack, but you don't want to be too anchored to your own bubble if it means you're staying in a bad positioning, because that whole time you could have been healing that Magneto there, but instead they died. So if you look at it again, you're positioning Magneto's, I've got decent health, your health is coming back, but your bubble's just too far away from the actual tank that you need to be behind. And in the moment where you're going invisible, because now you have to reposition yourself, Magneto dies. Here, I'm just trying to hold them on this staircase, and it's a good job you're doing. It looks a little bit like you're focusing a lot on throwing daggers and attacking enemies, when in that moment it might be a good idea to pop your pop your bubble. I know that Spider-Man happened quickly, but even though you're at full health, that can disappear quite quick, and you got to be prepared for the second you take damage to make sure you're in your healing form. Although you have the ability to go invisible when you're in cloak form, it's just not worth it when, as you're healing people, what you'll notice is that ring of where your daggers impact. So again, right here you go invisible, but you actually left your bubble. Look at your rings when your daggers make impacts. Right there, you could see it around the Magneto, here around the Captain America. Doesn't matter if you're hitting enemies or your own teammates. Look at your health. It's quite good. You're at half health, you're in the bubble. But it's when you go outside of the bubble that you then become vulnerable to Spider-Man. Even though you're trying to reposition, you're under the threat of Spider-Man, you have to trust your bubble and being in your dagger form. Here, you couldn't save that Emma Frost, it's fine. Here, your mentality needs to change. Not trying to beam that Captain America, you're gonna just tickle him with damage. Your Namor was actually in front of you there. And when he goes into his bubble form, that's your opportunity to heal him. because you can heal that bubble while he's impervious to damage. So here, I get it, you're full health, so was the Namor, but the second that Namor starts taking damage, you gotta be focusing him. Keep him alive, he's the one protecting you. Here you're in the thought train of doing damage. Namor was kinda okay. If you popped your bubble, which you did have, on Namor and yourself, and throw daggers at Namor to heal him, it'll also heal yourself and you'll be fine. So really, I think the biggest thing to stress in these moments is your cloak is going to be the person that is going to help you when you have an ult, when our team is doing really well. You can use your wall of damage and, really have an impact damage-wise. But in all other circumstances, like this scene right here really paints it perfectly. You need to be in your healing form and be thinking about who's protecting you, right? Who's around you on your team that can save your life. Right now it's that Namor, and you want to just be beaming them, not the enemy, because your daggers are going to do almost nothing. You want to keep them alive, use your bubble, and that will do a crazy amount of healing because it's radius based. It'll keep you alive longer. So just to reiterate, when you're doing your ult, you really need to think about your positioning when you finish your ult, especially when you're trying to push the team back and gain distance on your ult. See here, you're kind of really stuck in front of your whole team, the carpet's gone. The other thing is you need to be aware of where you laid down your carpet, because if you're not standing in it, you won't get the benefit. The other thing you really need to think about is your positioning when returning from a death. So here you've got enemy team on the right, your tanks on the left, they're your anchor point. Who's going to defend you when you're under attack? Because you don't deal enough damage to defend yourself. So you need to find the person, preferably someone who's important, and who's not too close to the middle chunk of the fight, and you need to keep them alive without having to use your abilities to escape because you're taking too much damage. Next point is that you need to be really aware of your abilities. So your bubble and your wall is going to not only heal people, but it's going to increase the rate of healing. So be aware of that one. And the other one is your bubble, especially when defending against Spider-Man and things like that. Your bubble, you need to stay in it and sort of commit yourself to it. You might feel like you're in the thick of it. If you're near a tank, like me in that situation, stay with it. And the last one is really time when you're in cloak damage form. Think of your anchor again, the character that you're protecting who's going to save you. In this case it was the Namor, and you want to make sure that you stay near him and you keep him alive. Obviously you can't beat bad positioning by other teammates, but you can make sure that you're not in damage form and you're in healing form, focusing on the character that you need to protect. This next fight is just so relatable. You've got Captain America. Our team is in okay position. You want to get rid of him. He's a big threat. But part of what you'll need to do is realize that you gotta focus on that person who's going to deal more damage than you, but needs your healing to survive. And this last one can be especially difficult. You just finish an ult, you feel like your team's got full health, but your carpet disappears faster than you think, and you want to be ready to keep healing people, handle the pressure that they're putting on the team.